time to learn our bass notes for part A. We have a very low A to start phrase 1. It will be the A to the left of low C. I'll review the names of the C's. I only teach 5 C names, and we can relate most notes back to those. Here's middle C, bass C, and low C. Treble C, high C. You'll see that we have our name for middle C. It's in the middle of our full 88 key keyboard. And then the first C's above and below are both in Italian. We have treble for high and bass for low. And then the next 2 C's out from there are both in English, the way I teach. And we have high C and low C. This first A of the left hand is an A below low C. It's going to be on the first beat of the measure, so the sound would be like this. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. When you play this bass note by itself, be sure to always play the 5th finger, because in the context of the complete left hand, we'll be using the 5th fingers for these low notes in this piece. And now let's go on to our second measure. After the A as our low note, we are going to be playing a D. This makes a lot of sense since the second measure does use a D minor chord. Here is the sound of the second measure with just this low bass added in. And you'll see that for some of my low notes, I'm remembering to have my hand open into a span of an octave. Even though my first finger thumb is not playing this D key, it is touching this D key close to bass C, and that is giving my hand stability to play the 5th finger low note. So if I can remember, I will be placing my hand in octave positions for low notes. There's a preview of the next bass notes. Everything's going up by 4th actually. A, D, G, C. And that's going to be our chord progression for part A. A, D, G, C. It's going to happen so many times. Here is the 3rd measure with that left hand bass note only added to the right hand. And so for everything in a row, it'll be like this. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... I went ahead to show the 4th measure. The little trill is traditionally played before the beat. And what you do is whenever you play the last note of the little trill, the E with the 3rd finger, that is when you will play the bass note in the left hand. Of course, go very slowly to learn the coordination. That's how it'll work. Here's the 4th measure. I'm playing the low notes very loudly right now for fun and to get them into my brain. Here is the whole phrase again. The second phrase will have the same progression, but instead of starting with this very low A, we are going to be playing the A an octave higher. So here are the low notes for the second phrase. And here is phrase 2 with just those low notes added to the right hand. Of course, the third phrase will be the same as the first phrase, and now let's move on to the fourth phrase, low notes. It'll be the same for the low notes as the phrase 2. And here it is with both hands. Here's the sound of part A with just the left hand low notes and the right hand complete. Good luck figuring it out.